Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed learning about Georgia O'Keeffe. She's absolutely one of my most favorite artists to learn about because she was a woman artist in America and she really is a symbol of American art. All right, so we're going to get started in a time when women couldn't even wear pants. She was becoming famous. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to do a piece of art probably from the first part of her life where she really focused on flowers. She did this mostly when she lived in New York City. In New York State, she would live up in Lake George area in the summer and spend her winters in New York City, living in her apartment and painting there. So we're going to focus on that movement of art. She was also married to a famous photographer, which helped to give her this inspiration of zooming in, which people didn't do at the time. So we're going to make poppy flowers. Here's two that I did so I can show you. One's with crayon. This is done with oil pastels. All right, so you can take out your crayons or oil pastels. You're going to need a pencil to draw. I'll use a Sharpie marker so you can see from far away. And we're going to get started. The poppy flower was given as a symbol of remembrance during Memorial Day. People give this red flower to people, an individual flower to someone to say, I remember you. I didn't forget what you did during the war, okay? So that's what the poppy flower symbolizes. So this is a great art project you could do. Take a photo of and give it to somebody. Here we go. All right, we're gonna start in the center, and because we're not gonna show the whole flower, we're gonna have pieces of the flower cut off the page, just like Georgia O'Keeffe would do on her canvas. So we're gonna start off by making that center part where the seeds are, okay? So we're gonna start off first by making a circle. Okay, you can draw this with pencil. And then I'm going to make, from the center, I'm gonna make swervy lines coming out. This is like the center of the flower. All right, so you can make some swervy lines that kind of come out to the end of the circle. And then from there, there's like these wispy black seeds that come out from there. So you kind of make some more lines kind of waving out like this. Okay, now if you're going to use oil pastels, you can go over this with black Sharpie marker, black oil pastels if you'd like to. You could do that. Here's some little seeds that stick out. They're very wispy looking. Sometimes they kind of come in like a little circle. They're very close together. And then from there, there's like these darker petal markings. So I'm going to come out and come around and come back in. So do you see how it's like a line out, a rainbow line, and you come back in? And then you do it again. You're going to make 4 of these. So line out, rainbow line, and back in. Again, out, rainbow line, and back in. Out, rainbow line, and back in. There you go. This will be colored in dark as well. Now these are the markings that are on the petal. So a petal, this is the marking that goes on top of the petal. So now from here, we're gonna pick the gap space in between. So this will become a petal here. All right, so from here, in between the gap of these 2 markings on the petal, I'm going to draw a line out. I'm gonna curve it. I'm gonna come over in between here too and make a line that comes out just like that. Okay, and we'll leave that there for now. Then I'm gonna come out in the same line again, but I'm gonna curve going the other way. Do you see how I did that? And I'm gonna come over here and make another curved line that comes out like this. Okay, you can start to see the form of the petals. I'm gonna come over here and make a curved line this way. And on this side, I'm gonna curve out the other way. And from here, I'm gonna curve out this way and come on the same line and curve out at the very end the other way. So now I have started a center of my flower zooming in. And this is what makes good composition. I'm gonna come over here, there's like a corner here, so I'm gonna make my petal have an edge. So I'm just gonna cut off that corner, see? So parts of it are on the page, parts of it are off, all right? I can do the same thing over here, making kind of like an edge. And over here, I can make part of the petal's edge. This one is really kind of not in a good place, but maybe yours is in a better place to do the same thing. And then here, it's like layers of petals. So if you see here, I actually have more petals behind these 4 petals, main petals. So I'm gonna come out again on this line and make a curved line that kind of comes out and a curved blend that comes out. See if there's a gap like that, you could do that too. You could also add in some more petal layers. See how I'm doing this? All right, maybe there's a little bit of a petal layer, some more petals that kind of represent in the background. They overlap, okay? All right, so once you've done that, you're going to use your black crayon or black oil pastel. I'm gonna use black crayon today, and I'm gonna go in and do the markings. This part's gonna be really dark along the edge, but as I come in, I'm gonna get a little lighter because I want those seeds to show. So I'm gonna kind of press lightly on my oil pastel or crayon to kind of get in that color, okay? Now you could go back over with black Sharpie marker and add in these details too that you drew with pencil, okay? So that's another option. And I'm just gonna come in and I'm just gonna make the markings on the petals. Usually I do these with really big square paper, and it's a lot of fun. And I know my friends from Paper Mill know this, and Abner Gibbs, they know that I've done this before, and we have them hanging on the stage for when we have Memorial Day, which is coming up in a little bit after vacation, okay? So we have Memorial Day at the end, we celebrate at the end of May. And usually in Westfield, it's a pretty big celebration. There's a parade. For those of you who might be new to Westfield, there's a parade that we usually have. I don't know if we're gonna have it this year. We didn't have it last year. And then there's a ceremony in front of the middle school to honor the soldiers, the veterans, okay? And they march, some of them march. All right, so I went in, I did some dark shading on the outer part and over to the side, but as I came in, I kind of lightened it so you can see some of those seeds and the details, okay? All right, then what you can do is you can also do this with marker as well. It's a little harder to press lightly with the marker though. All right, so then what you're gonna need is you can either use your crayons, you could do orange, yellows, and red crayons to show the highlight colors. Here's one I did with crayon. I did a light orange, a red, and I did a darker reddish orange. This one I did with oil pastels, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to add value today to your work, okay? So here we go. We're gonna start off with the red, the darkest crayon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, because when you do value, you wanna think about where light hits. These petals are coming inward, okay? And Georgia O'Keeffe was a classic colorist. She really focused on color in her paintings. They're unbelievably smooth when you see them. If you ever get to go in person and see one of her works, she has some hanging in Boston at the MFA. There are some there you can see. And there's also, they're all over, but there's a lot in New York City. At the Met, you could go there, Metropolitan of Fine Arts Museum. So you could go there and see that. So see how I added red? I really did a lot of red there. As I'm coming across, I'm kind of going lighter. See this? And I'm kind of going on a curve, see? I'm coming across, I'm going up and down because that's where the light is hitting the petal. The petal goes up and down, like how it grows. So you wanna kind of go in that kind of movement, okay? This side's light, that side's dark. So I'm gonna continue with that same pattern. This is dark because it's touching the light. So I'm gonna make this darker. But as I come across, I'm gonna press lighter. Are you watching me? I hope you're watching this video. All right, let me do that again. I'm gonna press dark here, coming up and down the petal. But as I come across that petal to add value, the shading of light and dark, I'm going to press lighter and lighter till I get to the other side, because the flower is actually red, but it has a tint of orange on it, okay? And with the light source hitting it too, that would change its appearance, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm gonna keep going across the petal, adding the red. Okay, so I'm getting lighter and lighter. Notice I'm pinching my oil pastel at the bottom. Okay, and again, dark on one side of the petal. And then I come out with that dark, really smooth and dark, okay? And as I come across, I get lighter and I keep repeating that. Then you can go back over with your orange and you can blend in the orange. You see how I'm doing this really nicely? I'm blending in orange with the red, okay? But as I come across, that color is going to become lighter and lighter. I can even add a little highlight with yellow. On this side, I could add even a little touch of yellow with that red to make it even lighter. Whoops, my yellow's a little bit. See, so I'm adding yellow, but it's looking orange, but it's lighter. If you have a light orange, you could use light orange too. See that? Okay. I might even add a little bit of a highlight of a darker red if you have a darker red, or even, believe it or not, a touch of purple to give it that shadow, because purple would be the next color in the color wheel. So I could add a little tiny touch of purple, see, to create that shadow. All right, so I'm gonna continue on with the orange. So this is really light on this side, but as I come across, I keep it mostly red. See, I leave the red alone. Okay, so orange. And when it gets to that solid red, I may not even go on top with the orange. I might leave it solid red. Okay, and it's gonna start to give that illusion that it has value. Again, you could add a yellow at the very lightest part. Okay, and when I'm done with this petal, I'm going to add a little touch of purple for the shadow. Then when you're done, you could add watercolor paints on top. See, I'm gonna go back in, add a little bit of shadow with the purple. See how I'm coming out on an angle? And I'm adding just a little bit. This is something I would have taught you at like a teacher table in the art room. And we would have gathered around together and kind of looked at that. Do you see how by adding the shadow, it kind of makes it come to be more realistic? So you'll keep doing that pattern of red and then shading it out, then orange overlapping, but leaving that red on the edge, and then doing a little bit of purple on top of the red. And you'll keep going all the way around till it's completed. And when you're done, you could add in watercolor paints to paint the little edges so that the paper's not white anymore. And you can continue the same pattern with the with the petals behind. As you can see here, I've got red. I need to add my purple in for the shadow. So I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna add a little shadow. See that? Now you can go in just a very little touch of purple, not much. See, just adding a little touch of the shadow. See that? Kind of makes it pop out a little bit more. All right, and if you notice, I used purple watercolor paints in the back. If you don't have watercolor paints, you could use marker and then add water to it, or you could just color it all in with crayon or oil pastels, the whole entire paper, okay? All right, so I can't wait to see your work. If you're using crayon, same thing. You can go in with the purple crayon and just do a little shadow to kind of give this more depth so it shows up. All right, boys and girls, I cannot wait to see your work. Make sure you send me a photograph of it, and I can't wait to see you in class. Bye, boys and girls.